why? Why is this so hard for us to do over here? And it also made me think, why does anime do a better job embracing these themes from Western classics and current day more than we do over here? Even when it comes to Walt Disney stories, anime does a better job incorporating these themes into their storytelling. When it comes to historical creators, storytellers responsible for classic Western stories setting the foundation of so much, we are truly doing them a disservice in how we treat them, destroying and mutilating them, masked behind the guise of modern adaptations, giving people in charge the license to tear them apart. And three that instantly come to mind are Tolkien, creator of Lord of the Rings, which Amazon seems so persistent in trashing the identity of that property, Walt Disney, the man behind so many classics consisting of universal themes that will forever be timeless, and of course Homer, the author of the Iliad and the epic classic The Odyssey. And these three I know are just turning in their graves, seeing what is being done to their life's work. The people that head our institutions, which are falling apart in real time, are only concerned with deconstructing these works, turning them inside out, ideologically subverting them, handling them with absolute disrespect, no regards for their legacy, ironically approaching them with hubris as Nolan has with The Odyssey, which is just a shame to see, especially coming from a Nolan fan myself, or at least used to be. Hating to see him become a shiki, as some of you are familiar with that metaphor I use from that anime to describe what happens when activists invade a creative space, converting creators one by one into AMTs, activist-minded types, but that's for another video. But the way he treated his version of the Odyssey is just in name only, because it isn't the Odyssey, even admitting himself he changed the ending because it was too misogynistic.
The language as well is very modern. It's very contemporary, easy to access. You say dad rather than father.
Make it feel very fresh for modern audiences.
Inspired by the feminist translation of Emily Wilson's perspective, but even she stated she didn't like it and wasn't enough to be pleased. Even having an article written by a journalist saying he didn't do enough to represent women. Which goes to my point, as I always say, trying to please these activists is like trying to fill a bottomless pit. It will never be enough.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
We're so filled with narcissism, lacking any humility when in front of such great works. And what really upset me was when Lupita, who is no Helen of Troy, had the audacity to say if she had a chance to ask Homer about the Odyssey, she would ask.
I'd be like, so Homer, how do you feel about the screen time given to these women, considering how little you spent with them? Okay.
And then do you lean forward and look at him like that?
Yes, like,
Just more representation BS. And if I was in a room full of people and only one of us was chosen to ask a question to such a legendary figure, I would be so angered that such a question was wasted on her. We have no sense of respect in our creative class anymore. We don't honor them, aren't humbled by them, but we look down on what they achieved. We basically look at them as just some random person from the past. And I remember someone asking me on stream along the lines of, will we be able to restore the soul and identity of these Western properties, the personality that made them so great? And I said maybe in 70 to 100, even 1,000 years, because we are nowhere near close to it now. It would be like Jumanji, the good one, where I think his name was Alan, if I remember, discovers the board game accidentally under dirt and rubble to be dug up from some random person in the future. That's how we would have to rediscover these properties. These properties will have to be rediscovered with a clear mind and see the beauty in these stories. I'm talking about all of it. Lord of the Rings, The Odyssey, Superman, Star Wars, going through the history behind such great tales of heroism instead of what we do now, which is just trashing them all the time. I saw recently the author of Dandadan, Tatsu, making an art piece or fan art of Ghost in the Shell honoring Masamune to go along with the recent adaptation being aired right now. A wonderful illustration that says it all, like, thank you for what you've created, artists like you paved the way for what I do now. And I thought, why? Why is this so hard for us to do over here? It's not just saying a simple thank you in an interview, but he actually took the time to draw a piece that does so. That's true respect and admiration for what came before him, and I love to see it. And it also made me think, why does anime do a better job embracing these themes from Western classics and current day more than we do over here? Like the opening to Chainsmoker Cat is filled with so many references of classics from the past. It's like a nostalgia trip that would make you want to rewatch these classics. It's not shitting on them, trashing them like we should be ashamed of them for some reason, viewing them from some activist lens, but presenting them in a clever way that honors them.
Damn straight.
Even when it comes to Walt Disney stories, anime does a better job incorporating these themes into their storytelling. For instance, with the announcement of the new Cinderella movie coming out soon, it will now include the stepsisters not being the cruel, abusive, jealous personality types towards Cinderella, but how they're really misunderstood and how it's not really their fault for how they are. Plus, I wouldn't be surprised if they included some overarching theme of how the evil patriarchy places unrealistic beauty standards onto them that has really caused them to act the way they have towards Cinderella. I could be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if so. Regardless, this does a disservice to the original with the attempts to, what I said earlier, not honor, do justice to, but to deconstruct it for modern audiences, subverting it. But in anime, they still embrace this universal theme in such works as My Happy Marriage, where you have this very innocent, soft-spoken woman named Mio, who was abused by her sister and stepmother, treated like a peasant or second-class citizen, made to do chores, get dirty, given an unpleasant place to sleep, such as Cinderella, where she's made to sleep in the far attic where dust gathers easily. But through it all, they both maintain their feminine way of being, keeping an optimistic view on life, full of grace. Even an anime that's airing right now, titled Ogre's Bride, where again we have a daughter of a family who shows the same characteristics. Soft-spoken, feminine, but is abused by her sister and parents, treated unfairly and like a peasant as well. But what these characters have in common is that they have a specific disposition that attracts a man of high elite status, that the evil sisters become immediately jealous of, that do their best to sabotage her chances of being with him, whether it's ripping and tearing Cinderella's dress apart so she won't attend the ball, knowing her beauty easily outshines their ugliness in and out, or locking Cinderella in her attic trying to claim they're the mystery woman behind the glass slipper rather than Cinderella herself. And in Mio's case, they're literally kidnapping her, beating her, and trying to instill the mindset that she's unworthy of such a man. Or in Ogre's Bride, where as of making this video, the evil sister's next plan is to sabotage her chances with getting with the man that finds her attractive, wants to marry her, who holds the most highest position in that world, who comes from a very affluent, high-class, highly, extremely respected family. Now, it's airing right now, and I don't know how it'll end, but right now it follows the same theme or formula while carrying its own voice of a story. But real quick, as many of you know, I've been recently learning how to draw and had to dedicate a sketch of Your Forger from Spy Family for today's video. And while drawing this sketch, I wasn't quite satisfied with it, seeing it was missing something or maybe some things. Oh wait, the heavies. Yes, of course, that's right. I can't have her without those precious things. It's not a perfect sketch. I kind of freestyled her bust from what I've been learning, but I think it did it somewhat justice or enhanced it a little bit. Now, Yor is the waifu that in my opinion fits every checkbox. Lady in the streets and someone else in discreet with an outfit to match that suits that more spontaneous dark side. Feminine, not quite the cook, but the effort she's willing to put in to learn means more than so much. Plus, the dark-haired woman in red, which many of you know I am a sucker for, I can't lie. Now, I didn't have time to include a whole bunch of people's sketches. I told Rob last night I would include his sketch, but for my next one, I'll try to find more time to include people's sketches and last minute editing of this, because I'm actually doing this the morning of before I go to work today, hopefully to have this up later. So, but tell me which character I should do for my next main video in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Now, back to the video. I even did a video a while back doing a scene for scene comparison of Fragrant Flowers Blooms with Dignity and Beauty and the Beast, and how it seems to take much inspiration from that story. So I want to give a scene comparison of when Beast saves Belle. Shout out to Belle. She's a beautiful classic Disney princess. How Beast saves Belle from these wolves, and how Rentaro saves Wagati from these thugs that corner her. She's completely being cornered and just overwhelmed. Of course, she doesn't have the strength to fight these beasts away, and Beast just comes to her aid, becomes her savior, right? He's like, no, get the hell away from my woman. This is a very important scene, right? And so they get scared of him. They run away, right? So this is when the thugs corner Wagiri, right? Please let go of me. And so basically she's cornered again, and Rintaro comes to her aid, becomes her savior. Just the way Beast came to Belle's aid, Rintaro came to her aid. And I want to also do this right here where, okay, Beast, he takes, he took a few hits and, got scratched up. And he's just like, he's out. He's out for the count, right? He's out. You got to love this scene. I love this. I recently rewatched Beauty and the Beast like a couple weeks ago. I was in my Disney bag. I watched this, Cinderella, The Fox and the Hound. What y'all know about that? Yo, these classic Disney movies, they're better when you watch them as an adult. I'm telling man, Disney has completely lost their way, man. So Belle is like, damn, you saved me. That's like her Prince Charming, right? She was saved by Beast the same way Wagiri was saved by him. And he's bleeding. He's wounded up. Protected her, right? And the same way the wolves ran away from him, are the same way, look, intimidating, like, he looked at her like, hey, don't mess with her. And they're like, they run away just like the wolves, just like the wolves. So this is what I'm telling you. The formula works. You got to find your own way of telling it. So he's wounded, right? And she's trying to heal him. And just the way, same way, Wagiri, look at this. Like, yo, it's like, I mean, come on, yo. It's almost like a scene for scene, damn near, but, that hurts. If you'd hold still. And shout out to Belle. I always love this in movies where the guy's like way too beastly and she's just trying to help him. Now, it doesn't quite play out like this in Fragrant Flowers. He allows her to heal him.
By the way, thank you for saving my life.
It's the first time he's actually heard somebody say thank you in the longest, I don't know. I forgot how many years he spent as a beast, but it's like refreshing. Like, oh my gosh, she's being kind to me. Okay, so this is the first time somebody's actually had a positive first impression of him, right? And his eyes light up like, what? Nobody's ever said that to me before. Just the way she says, thank you. By the way, I want to say thank you.
By the way, thank you for saving my life.
Yeah. So they both of them almost have, they're surprised. They have a shock of they have an expression of shock, like, wow, somebody's actually said that to me. So this is when they become more familiar with each other. This is a classic trope too, right?
I can't.
You mean you never learned?
I learned.
I forgot. And then so Wagiri in her school, she's like the top student in her school, right? And she's a real true academic. She makes honor roll every semester, whatever, how that translates in Japan. And Rintaro is not so bright, or he's not the best student, right? It's like a goal for him not to go to summer school, something the equivalent of that, right? Let me turn this volume down. Now that we're both full, shall we get to studying? Another formula. So Belle, she's the daughter of an engineer. So she's very intelligent, very academically inclined, right? And same with her, Wagiri. Like,
well, here, I'll help you. Let's start here.
Yeah, great, man, great. And so she says, we're starting with math, right? Could we start with this part? And then she says, here. Which part? And so it's almost like this, like, let's start here.
Okay, 12.
2.
I knew that. 2. How?
And in here, of course, they're studying. You can solve this using either elimination or substitution. She's helping him. This it's the same, type of scene, right? Same type of scene. She's teaching him, Belle is teaching Beast, and Wagiri is teaching Rintaro, right? Both great love interests in the story, man. Shout out Belle and Wagati. Great love interests. So many examples of anime that captures that Disney spirit more than Disney ever could itself in current day. A sad reality where the people in charge are adamant about destroying his legacy rather than preserving it. Anime still embraces these themes of the hero's journey in many works, where you'll have a guy character who comes from a humble village, have a tragedy occur amongst his family, and accepts his call to adventure, becoming an apprentice and mastering the ways of whatever it is he's seeking to bring about good in the world again. Where over here in the West, the hero's journey is basically summed up as sexist, toxic masculinity, or misogynist, just nonsense overall, whatever buzzword it is. All of these reasons eventually add up to why anime has overthrown and dethroned Hollywood, which used to be the mecca of entertainment, and if carefully examined, it's obvious and easy to see why. But that's all I have for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Something I hate to see are these legendary creators that in their death, their creative works they spent their whole life on being taken advantage of and not done justice by other creators in current day, who have the privilege of handling them in modern day. And something I thought that maybe future creators should think of is at the end of their novels or stories or whatever it is, they should add an author's note stating that any adaptation made past this without their sole approval is an unofficial, bastardized, should be condemned adaptation or sequel by the true fans. Because back in the day, they probably assume anyone who works on what they created surely would do their best to continue its legacy instead of tarnishing it. But as we see more and more, that sadly is not the case, and I think I'll make a separate video to dive into that proposal much more. Also, if you want to support the content I create, consider joining my channel, becoming a member. It's much appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Free think. Peace.